Hello everybody, this is Lara from Pure Elliott Wave with your once a week analysis of Bitcoin and another market. And today, because Jack isn't with us this week for the YouTube channel, I'm going to do Bitcoin and XRP. Bitcoin first. It's testing previous all-time highs. The all-time high was the week beginning 10th of March 2024 at 73,802. Currently, so far this week, the high is 73,612.24. So it hasn't yet made a new all-time high. We do not yet have an upward breakout. But we do have an indication that this bear market may have been over back down on the week beginning 4th of August 2024. This bear market, which begins week 10th of March 2024, is defined by a series of lower lows and lower highs. The lowest high in that bear market previous to the lowest low is this high, the high of week beginning 28th of July 2024 at 70,027.05. That high has now been breached this week, and so we have a break of the pattern of lower lows and lower highs, indicating that this bear market may be over and the next bullish run may be underway. And in my last video, I said to you that was one of the things I wanted to see to have an indication that the bear market was indeed over. We don't yet have a break to new all-time highs though. We need to see a close above 73,802.64 on an upward session with push from volume in order to have confidence that we have an upward breakout, and at that point I would have full confidence that the next bullish run, however long it may be, would then be underway. Currently, price is finding very, very strong resistance here at 73,800. We'll look at how I expect price to behave for the very, very short term on the next daily chart. Up to the last all-time high, volume was pushing price higher within this bear market so far. For the week beginning 4th of August 2024, it is a green volume bar which is strongest, but that week is a really strong dragonfly doji with a huge bullish long lower wick and a really small body. So I think we need to look inside that week to have more confidence of whether it was upward or downward volume that was dominating that week. Since then, it's been a downward week which has dominated the volume profile. So for the short term, the volume profile I have still been reading as bearish, and I will still read it as bearish unless we see volume beyond the week beginning 28th of September on a green volume bar. At the weekly time frame, ADX is still declining. It's not yet below 15, but it's a relatively low level, and it is now below both DX lines. It's setting itself up for a strong signal, but at this time we don't have a signal from ADX that there's a new trend yet. RSI didn't reach oversold, and there was no bullish divergence. There was still further room for that bear market to continue. Money flow didn't reach oversold during this bear market either. Since the low, the last low in the bear market on week beginning 4th of August, ATR has showed some increase, but more recently ATR has been declining. So although price is at or very, very close to previous all-time highs, we're seeing a decline in range. There is a little bit of weakness in this upward movement. With no clear trend, using a model of stochastics plus support and resistance, that would expect the upward swing to end here or very soon, and stochastics to enter overbought or perhaps only barely halfway enter overbought, and a downward swing may begin. But for short-term movements, I think I'd rather look to the daily chart. The last session for the 29th of October found a high at 73,612.24, falling short of previous all-time highs. So there's a resistance about 73,800. Price is finding resistance, strong resistance now. There's support here at about 71,500. So that looks like it's holding up the low for the current session. This channel, I showed you in my last video, I said I wanted to see this channel broken in order to have the earliest indication that all-time highs may be tested, and it is, and so now all-time highs are being tested. Price found resistance here, had a pullback to support at 65,000, a breakthrough on an upward session with push from volume, moving up and away, now testing next support again at 71,500. We don't yet have a close to new all-time highs though. We need to have a close to all-time highs on an upward session which has support from volume. What I mean by support from volume is, if we see a close to new all-time highs, that session must show an increase in volume beyond the session immediately prior. If we see that, then we have support from volume. If that happens, we may see a backtest of support around 73,800 before price moves up and away. For the short term, volume is now pushing price higher, but within that strongest volume from the weekly time frame on that Dragonfly Doji, it's a downward session that has a strong volume spike. So the volume profile is still bearish. Now, I've said it repeatedly so many times before, this could indicate that that low for the 5th of August may be sustained for the long term, or it could indicate that that's an interim low within an ongoing bear market, and we won't have confidence which of those two scenarios is playing out until we have either a break to new all-time highs on an upward session with push from volume, or we see a new low. We have to have a breakout of this range in order to have confidence on whether or not the next bullish run for Bitcoin has just begun, or we're going to see a continuation of the bear market. We don't have that breakout yet. Price could be close to an upward breakout, but we don't have an upward breakout yet. This volume at 4.2 billion was equal to this volume for the 1st of October, so we don't have volume yet on an upward session that is stronger than all of the volume up off the low for the 5th of August. So we do have some support from volume, but not as much as I would like to see in order to really have confidence that we're likely to get an upward breakout and that a next bullish run for Bitcoin is most likely underway. Until we have that upward breakout, I will hedge my bets and say that we don't have it yet, so we can't be fully confident the next bullish run is underway. It is still possible that we could see lows for the bear market tested and exceeded until we see a close to new all-time highs. That's the next thing I want to see in order to really have confidence that the next bullish run for Bitcoin is underway. And if we do that, and you want to come back into this channel and tell me that I was wrong when I said that I thought the bear market was going to continue, I will simply delete your comments. I'm happy to be wrong because, unlike a couple of idiot comments, I didn't sell my Bitcoin. Why would I do that? I'm still here for the long term. I'm still holding on for the end of a third wave. And finally, if I was wrong in that video, I'm actually really happy about that. For my own investing purposes, I would much rather, obviously, the bullish run is underway. ADX at the daily time frame tells us there is an upward trend in a relatively early stage. So this indicator suggests we may get new all-time highs for Bitcoin very soon. RSI is overbought, but it's only just entering overbought. It can reach very deeply overbought and remain there for quite a while at this time frame while Bitcoin has a bullish run. If we get that close to new all-time highs, RSI being overbought wouldn't be a cause for concern. It would suggest we may get a pullback in the short term to relieve these extreme conditions, but it doesn't mean that the bullish run has to end here. Money flow is neutral. ATR is really flat. Volume isn't particularly strong and range isn't strongly increasing. There is not yet strength up off that low for the 5th of August in order to give confidence that the next bullish run is indeed underway. So without strength off lows and without a close to new all-time highs, we have to remain somewhat neutral and say the bullish run could be here, but we need to see a close to new all-time highs for confidence, or the bear market lows could be retested and could be exceeded before the next bullish run begins. I want to see a close to new all-time highs before I'm ready to all but eliminate the possibility of the bear market continuing to new lows. I'm going to be a little bit fence sitting, a little bit more cautious, and tell you what I need to see for real confidence. At the weekly time frame, the Elliott Wave count for XRP sees it within a third wave at minor degree, intermediate primary degree, and within the monthly time frame, this is a third wave at cycle degree. I do have, I think, 2 or 3 monthly charts. I'll put a link in the description box down below to a previous analysis I did for XRP where I went over a full Elliott Wave count with my alternates as well at the monthly time frame. This is my main Elliott Wave count. We don't have a break of this best fit channel yet for XRP. Price is squeezed within a support line here and this resistance line here. I want to see a break above this channel with a full green daily candlestick above and not touching before I have confidence that this bearish movement is indeed complete for XRP and the next bullish run is underway. The next bullish run, a third wave at multiple degrees. Until we have that, minor 2 may not move beyond the start of 1 below 0.3838. At the daily time frame, we're looking now at the structure, the early stages of intermediate 3, and I have moved the degree of labelling within the early stages up 1 degree. I'm going to see minor 1 complete here, minor 2 complete here, minute 1, and now minute 2 is a double zigzag moving a bit lower. It may not move beyond the start of 1. If it continues, it can't move below 0.4322. XRP just doesn't always have great proportion. Minute wave 2 is a lot longer lasting than minor 2, 1 degree higher. For most markets, this would be a real problem for the Elliott Wave count, but for this market, it just doesn't always have great proportion, so it's acceptable. This wave count expects an upward breakouts for XRP imminently. In the next couple of weeks or so, it expects that this low should be intact by now and the next wave up should be underway. At the daily time frame, technicals for XRP in my last video, I think Jack might have covered this as well. We had a little flag pattern here. We gave you a target for the flag. I can't remember what it was, but it was calculated from this flagpole and deducted from the breakout point. The target wasn't met and support at 0.46 wasn't met. Price has fallen somewhat short of that target and support, and it's moving upward, but it's not moving upward with strength. These upward sessions don't have an increase in range, and they've only got a little bit of an increase in volume. They're not as strong as these downward sessions, and this downward session for the 5th of October did end with reasonable strength. Volume was strongly pushing price lower down to the lows around 2nd of October. It was pushing price lower again down to the last low for the 25th of October, but a big decline in volume shows some weakness in downward movement. We don't yet have strength in upward movement to follow from that yet though, so I can't be really confident that that low for XRP is in place. I want to see real strength and upward movement off that low before I can have that confidence. Previously though, the low at the 5th of August was followed by upward sessions which had really strong push from volume. So the 5th of August low may very well remain intact. A little bit more confidence on that low for XRP because we do see real strength and upward movement following it. At this time frame, ADX tells us there's a downward trend in a relatively early stage, indicating we may see more downward movement. RSI is neutral. There's a way to go before it reaches oversold. Money flow is neutral. There's a long way to go before that reaches oversold. ATR is weak, volume is weak, up off the last very short-term low. So we may see downward movement yet before XRP is ready to begin its next bullish run. That's it from me today with a quick update for you, and I hope you're all having a lovely week.